How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL stream. And today it is Game Week 23 preview. Game Week 22 is over. I got 68 points, and I got a 55k red arrow. Can you believe it? Almost 70 points and a red arrow. And it was mainly down to the fact that the two differential players I really had in my team didn't score, and I didn't captain Fernandez, I captained Salah. So, got a red arrow, unfortunately, which is effective ownership 101, basically. But yeah, we'll go through how we did in this game week, player by player. We'll also take a look at our predictions, as we normally do. We'll go through our scores and predictions for next week, as well as our differentials. And we'll also take a look at the brand new news that we got today, which is double game week 24 and double game week 25. That's right, there's going to be double game weeks for the next 3 game weeks after game week 23. So hold on to your horses. We're definitely going to be getting into that. So we're going to see some planning and stuff like that as well. For potential, what we could do with, like, if we have certain chips. So if you have a wild card, you can basically do just endless number of transfers in 25, and then bench boost in 26. You can transfer in a couple of players that may be more differential, that maybe for the shorter term, the smaller double gamings that we have in 24 and 25. So we will get into all those sorts of things as well. And then we'll be taking a look at my transfers and what I'm planning for this game week. I have 2 frees this week, and I'm planning on using both of them, almost certainly. Definitely one of them. Obviously, don't want to burn a transfer and waste it. So we'll definitely be taking a look at that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, game week 22. I started off at 615k. We got a red arrow because if we had captained Salah, if we hadn't captained Salah, we had captained Fernandez, we would have got an extra 17 points. So that would have put us on, quick maths, 85. So we would have definitely got a green arrow for sure. But the problem was that Barnes and Johnston both didn't do anything, which I kind of needed them to do in order to to do well. Souček scoring isn't the end of the world. I was going to play Antonio over him regardless. I always was going to play Barnes over Souček. Just thought he had a better fixture or a better, he's potentially more involved, and he could have potentially scored, but, it's not the end of the world. I don't think Souček's 9 points over like Son or Barnes would have got me a green arrow anyway. It probably would have just made the red arrow not as bad. I'm not sure on the calculation. But, overall, it is what it is. It's just one of those game weeks, and you get a whole back line of clean sheets. You got a 17-point midfielder in your midfield. Your forward that you brought in, he scored. Your one of your other forwards gets an assist. Your other forward gets 2 assists, and you end up with a red arrow. It is what it is. Zodiac, my game week, 89 points. Yeah, the Justin 15-pointer. That's probably what did it this week, personally. For most people, that, and if you had that Man United defender, you're pretty much guaranteed a green arrow, assuming you had like the normal players like the City defenders, Antonio, Bamford, these sorts of players in your team. Yeah, and ouch on Souček. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I picked Antonio over him. Antonio ended up with 2 assists, so I'm not, kind of opposed to obviously picking Antonio over Souček. It is what it is. But yeah, Barnes obviously getting only 3 points is disappointing. Son not getting anything. It is what it is. Johnston looked good off the start, and then they conceded 2, and Martinez ended up with 4 points, which is just another kind of kick in the backside to say you don't go with goalkeepers that play for teams that are going to get relegated, basically. What do I think of the David Luiz red card? I think David Luiz and I'll put Bednarek in this category as well. I think both players do make contact. It is slight contact, but it is contact. And they are denying a goal scoring opportunity. I think they are both soft, but I think in the situation, you have to give them both equally. Both of them don't make a genuine attempt to play the ball. they initially have themselves put in a situation where they have to now get themselves out of the way of the player in order to not have contact. There is minor contact on both of them. Both players do go down soft, and I think both of them should have been awarded a penalty and a red card. 3-game suspension? No. 1-game suspension? Yes. Because you can have a red card, and you can have a 3-game suspension, or a 2-game suspension, or 1-game suspension. I think Bednarek altogether ended up, he's not going to have a suspension at all, which I think is a bit weird. I think it should still be a 1-game suspension, because technically there was contact on both players. Yes, it was minor. Yes, it doesn't mean that they should necessarily go down, but in this day and age, in this game, if there's contact, you can go down, and it can be awarded as a penalty, and if it is denying a goal-scoring opportunity, it is a red card. That's just the letter of the law. Both players did kind of make an attempt to get out of the way after they realized they were in a situation where they couldn't basically do anything about, getting to the ball and making an attempt for the ball. But that's just bad positioning, in my opinion. If you are in a situation where you have to then move yourself out of the way and let the forward go in on goal, and not try to defend him correctly and position yourself in the first place, then I think you're still deserving of receiving some form of punishment, even if you do try to get out of the way. It's like saying, "Oh well, I ate all the cookies in the cookie jar, Mom and Dad, but don't worry, I can get other cookies and I can put them in the jar." It's like, no, you still ate all the cookies. You got yourself in a bad situation. You got caught with the chocolate all over your mouth. You got caught with crumbs all over the counter. You got caught red-handed, and you get punished for it. That's just how it works. It's probably a poor analogy, but it is what it is. I think both of them are soft penalties to give away, but by the letter of the law, they are both red cards and penalties in that scenario because there was contact on both of them. But yeah. Back to my team here. So Johnston only 2 points, Son only 2 points, and Barnes only 3 points. Salah getting us 2 points as well. I've captained Salah the most out of any player this season. I think he's out of these 6 or 7. I think it's either 6 or 7 captain blanks that I've had. He's blanked the most. I think he's either 4 out of 6 or 4 out of 7 of those blanks. Son was one of the blanks. KDB was one of the blanks. And I want to say Bruno was the other blank. I want to say. Gotta fix the cushion on my chair. There we go. That's a little bit better. But yeah, was happy with Calvert-Lewin, was happy with Antonio, was happy with Bamford, was happy with Bruno. Man City clean sheets came through. It is what it is. And obviously Souček being on the bench for 9 points, that's kind of annoying, but happens. But yeah, overall 55k red arrow downwards. So we're now at 671k. So yeah, it sucks, but nonetheless, we move on to the next game week, and hopefully we can get some more points in it. So these were the scores for the games this weekend. Some ridiculous scores this week. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have a very good prediction score for this week, but if you do follow along with the predictions for the various different scores that we do, you get 3 points for the exact result, you get 1 point for the result, and you get 0 points for getting the result incorrect. So I predicted West Brom to win 1-0 over Sheffield United. Sheffield United ended up coming back from 1-0 down and winning 2-1, so we don't get anything there. Arsenal also did not win 2-0. They were cruising, and then David Luiz gave away a silly penalty, so they ended up losing the game 2-1. United did get a victory over Southampton, 2-1 by my book, but they decided to do a little bit more extracurricular activity and decided to put a little bit more into it, and they ended up winning just a measly 9-0. Obviously, getting a player being sent off in the first 90 seconds or whatever it was a bit, a bit interesting. So yeah, United kind of really put it to them. I told Sheffield United would win. Yeah, you did. You did. That's true. That's true. That is true. I just didn't think that Sheffield United would score, personally. I thought West Brom would go there, Big Sam, you know, doing what he does, which is getting teams out of relegation, would do well. I predicted the City and the Leicester scores. That would have been, yep. And then everything else was bad. Well, if you get 2 exact scores right, that's 6 points on our score tally. But we predicted Crystal Palace to win 1-0 over Newcastle. They won 2-1, so we get 1 point. City 2-0 over Burnley. We predicted 5-0, so we get a point there. Leicester 2-0. I predicted 2-1, so another 1-pointer. Leeds lost to Everton, so nothing there. Villa lost to West Ham. Liverpool lost to Brighton, and Chelsea won 1-0 over Spurs. So overall, we got 5 out of 10 right, so 5 points overall. Not terrible, but not bad either. We'd like 1 extra score to be right and it to be an exact score, if we can get it. But clean sheet, Arsenal definitely didn't keep a clean sheet. Neither did Johnston. Phillips didn't keep a clean sheet, even though he did play. Did Pulisic get involved? No, he did not. And Cavallero was not. So all of our differential picks, if you listen to me, you didn't do so well. But nonetheless, we try to do a little bit better this time overall. It was a bad week in predictions because, you know, Sheffield United is bottom of the league, so we kind of expected them. I mean, you could probably a draw or something like that, maybe. Not necessarily a win. Wolves beating Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal looked like they were in control. United beating Southampton by 9-0. I mean, that's only ever happened, what, 3 times ever? Crystal Palace beating Newcastle. You know, them scoring 2 goals is, kind of crazy enough as it is. Man City winning 2-0 over Burnley. Pretty much that's probably quite a common one there. Leicester 2-0 over Fulham. That's probably quite common. West Ham beating Villa, not many people would have probably seen that. And then probably the biggest one of them all was Brighton beating Liverpool 1-0. So Liverpool with back-to-back defeats at Anfield. And they have to host Man City this week. 50% of the matches were clean sheets. They were, yep. A lot of clean sheets came later on on the second and third day, obviously. 1 clean sheet obviously came from Man United, which was pretty one-sided anyway. But yeah, feel bad for the youngster, but in the Southampton game, I can't remember his name, but he was making his debut, and you're making your debut, you're on the pitch for 90 seconds, and you want to, you get a little bit over eager, and he goes in way too high on the tackle, and that's always going to be a red card. Even 20 years ago, you're going in high, you're going in over the ball, above the knee, like it's just, yeah. Yeah, if there would have been fans there, Old Trafford would have been going absolutely mental. If Mike Dean didn't pull the card out of his pocket, the United fans would have willed it out of his pocket with the amount of, screaming and shouting that they were doing. So, yeah, it would have been very bad for him. It wouldn't have been an experience that he would have liked. But, you feel bad for someone who's young like that. And then it got to a point where, United was just putting in goal after goal after goal, and it just felt almost like torture in a sense. It was almost like the men versus boys scenario, but on an extreme level. Spurs would have been booed off today. Yeah, I mean, they probably would have. I mean, Spurs have no invention. No invention at all. And we knew this. We know how Jose Mourinho plays. Jose Mourinho defends. He then lumps the ball forward, and then he relies on individual players to pull something out of the hat. Problem is that if you don't play, Bale, these players that are going to potentially win you the game, then what are you supposed to do? You're bringing on players like Lamela. You're taking off players like Ndombele. Where you want to put your best players on the field to be able to do this. You have to find a situation like Vinicius, in all fairness, should have probably scored. He probably had the best chance for Spurs. That header that he basically rose up and was maybe 8 yards out, I want to say. All he had to do was put it on target and he would have scored. So yeah, bit unfortunate for Jose Mourinho, but again, it is what it is. I'm actually going to bring up the Premier League table off to the side because I want to see the situation with the table. So let's bring this over here. So I'm going to maneuver it like that. There we go. Should be able to see everyone. So City right now, the best in form, 5 out of the last 5. With this given, I think they've won more than that in a row, but Man United only 3 points behind, but City do have a game in hand, and that is versus Everton. That's one of Everton's games in hand. Everton's other game in hand is, I believe it's either versus Spurs or Villa, and then Villa has a game in hand versus Spurs as well. And then Leeds and Southampton have a game in hand against each other, and then Burnley and Fulham have a game in hand against each other. Those are the games that still need to be played out. But Chelsea move up into 6th. However, they are level on points with the likes of Everton, who still have 2 games in hand. Obviously, one of them against City, and the other one is against Villa or Spurs or whoever it is. Can't remember exactly, but it's basically they all kind of play each other pretty much. It's like Everton play Villa, Villa play Spurs, Spurs play Everton, and then City play Everton or something like that. But yeah. That's why I'm moving Son to Eze, unless he gets a double-digit haul against West Brom. Yeah, I mean, it's... The thing is, Kane is apparently supposed to be back for either their fixture versus Everton in the FA Cup or Man City, apparently. So, I would say hang on to him. So, yeah, Spurs still have a game in hand. Villa have 2 games. If Villa win both their games in hand, they're at 38 points, so they'd be up into 5th. If Everton win both their games in hand, so if they beat City, because one of their games in hand is against City, if they beat City, and then they win their game in hand versus Spurs or Aston Villa, whoever they play. Actually, I'm just gonna take a look. Calvert-Lewin. Fixtures. It's Aston Villa. Okay. Put that back. Move that back into place. There we go. Yeah, so if we look at Spurs, apparently Kane is supposed to be back for either this fixture here versus Everton in the 5th round of the FA Cup, or this fixture versus Man City. Apparently he's supposed to be back then. Those are the reports. He probably won't play against Wolfsburg if he is delayed. So then he'll almost certainly be back for West Ham. Now, if we're looking at game week wise, so you got game week 23, game week 24, game week 25, he'll be back. So you that's what it seems like. So if you're on a wild card for 25, bench boosting in 26, you can get him in versus West Ham if you wanted to. But again, he's coming off injury, so we're not sure how that's going to go. But yeah. Yeah, surprise of the week. Watching Man United win 9-0. That was a bit interesting. Watching Liverpool just have no way of breaking down Brighton, whose defensive stats have been quite good this season. They've just been unlucky because they had Matt Ryan in goal, who was letting a lot in that he shouldn't have. Sheffield United getting a much-needed 3 points, and Arsenal's capitulation after the David Luiz sending off. Those were the highlights of the week. I want Barty back so that so I want to sell him. Yeah, I mean, you could pick and choose which kind of key forward. Vardy is apparently supposed to be back soon as well. I think it's either the Wolves game this weekend or the FA Cup game. I think he's supposed to be back for. Leicester. Who do Leicester have in the FA Cup? I can't remember who they have. But yeah, he's supposed to be back. Apparently, it's just a minor. Brighton. There you go. Apparently, he's supposed to be back because it was just a minor hernia surgery, so nothing that's gonna affect him like super long term. You know, just something a little bit minor that it got fixed, and I guess he should be fine. But I think the you know, Leicester's big miss versus bigger teams is Ndidi, because he just provides that stability. Yeah, let's bring across our predictions little notepad here. So Aston Villa versus Arsenal. What are we saying for this one? I'm personally thinking Aston Villa has this one. You know, Leno being sent off, Arsenal's goalkeeper, as well as you know, David Luiz being sent out. Mind you, them having David Luiz out probably helps them, to be honest. But I think Aston Villa could win this one. So Zodiac goes with a 2-1. So I assume that's Aston Villa 2-1. And Harry is going for a 2-1 Arsenal. Harry, you're an Arsenal fan, so you obviously have to back your team. But I'm going to go with Zodiac here. I'm going to go with a 2-1. 2-1 Aston Villa. I think Arsenal... Actually, you know what? I think Aston Villa probably keep a clean sheet even. I'm going to go 2-0. You know, yeah. I remembered. You gotta back your team. Burnley versus Brighton. I think this one is going to go the same as it did before. The last time these two teams played. And then let's see if anyone can get it in the chat. Zodiac's got it. I think it's going to be a 0-0, honestly. I think both Burnley strikers are... Wood and Barnes are still out. We will have to wait for that confirmation in the press conference. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a boring 0-0. I don't see them scoring. I think Brighton were very fortunate. They put a lot of pressure, but didn't create any real clear-cut chances. And the goal that they got versus Liverpool was a, you know, kind of a bit of a jammy goal. But I think if there is going to be a team that will score, it's probably going to be Burnley. Maybe because they're slightly stronger from set pieces, but we'll have to see. Newcastle versus Southampton. Now, if you had told me this about like 9 weeks ago, I'd have been like, Southampton all day, every day, easy 2-0 win, no problem. But Newcastle have been kind of slowly turning the results, barely, kind of, not really. Wilson's been kind of getting him out of situations. I think both teams defensively aren't doing as well as what they could be doing. I think Vestergaard is supposed to be back in training, which is going to be a big help for them because he's been out for a long time. But I think Southampton at the back just aren't as good. They do have a lot of injuries, so I think Newcastle can score. But I think Southampton might be able to score as well. You know, they have Redmond in there. They have Ings. They have Che Adams. They should be able to conjure up at least one goal versus Newcastle's defense. So maybe on the break or something. So I'm going to agree with you guys in the chat. I'm going to go with a 1-1 as well. Fulham versus West Ham. I think this can only go one way. I think it's a West Ham victory. I think Jesse Lingard was by and far man of the match. He was man of the match in the first half, let alone the second half. I think West Ham score at least one in this one. And I think defensively West Ham are going to cause problems for Fulham. Fulham are going to try to attack. But I think West Ham have shown resilience in defense. And they showed that they could cut down and stop playmakers like Jack Grealish. So I think they can do the same for anything that Fulham may throw at them. So yeah, I'm going to go with the 2-0 as well. I think they'll score 2 goals and be quite comfortable. This time without Lookman's pen, yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't. Who takes? I think Cavallero might be on penalties now, but who knows? But I don't think Fulham get anywhere near the goal, to be honest. I think if they're going to score one, it's going to be a defensive mistake by West Ham. But I think West Ham can easily score one from a set piece. You know, especially if they don't play Mitrovic, then that leaves a little bit more vulnerable on set pieces at both ends. So yeah. Man United versus Everton. Now, Everton is over, I think, over the whole season. It's either over the whole season or the last 6 game weeks or something. Everton is bottom for attack, so they don't actually score very many goals. So I don't see them scoring probably more than 1. I still see them scoring 1 because United will probably give up a set piece of some kind. But I still think United have more than enough to score here. I'm going to go in the middle of that. I know Harry wants to, yeah, he wants to say that United's going to lose to Everton because, you know, Arsenal and whatnot. And then he can come here after the games and then laugh at me. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. We'll see. We will see. I'm going to predict, I got to back my team. I'm going to predict United to win 2-1. Oh, no, he's changed his mind. He's changed his mind. 2-1 United. I think United will win the game 2-1 or 2-0, something like that. United will probably score a couple in this one. I don't see West Ham keeping, not West Ham, Everton keeping a clean sheet. I think that, especially if Pickford's in goal, I think he was, I don't know if he was out because he was injured or he was just dropped or whatever, but I hope Pickford's playing because he's not very good. But yeah. Spurs versus West Brom. Now, the previous encounter was a 1-0, and that was a Harry Kane goal. But Harry Kane's not going to play, most likely. So I think 1-0. I don't know. I think Spurs I think West Brom are they're gonna park it. They're gonna do the best that they can. I think it probably goes a similar way. In all honesty, I think it could just be one of those days where Spurs will knock on the door, and they'll either score a boatload or they'll score none. I don't know what it's gonna be. I'm just gonna go Spurs 2-0. I'm gonna go slightly one more than you guys. I'm gonna say Spurs 2-0. I think they can definitely get one. It's just a matter of because West Brom's defense hasn't been good. Even Spurs' attack hasn't been the greatest, but West Brom's defense hasn't been good. Wolves versus Leicester. Another Leicester clean sheet, I think. Oh, excuse me. 3-1, 2-1. I think this could be a Leicester clean sheet, to be honest. I think they can do the exact same thing that they did to Fulham. James Justin and Pereira were just ridiculous in that game. They were flying up and down the pitch and basically doing well tracking back. Yeah, Wolves are unpredictable. The problem with Wolves is that, like, I think they can score. I think they might nick one. But it's just a matter of how many Leicester will score. I think Leicester probably shaded. I'll go 2-1. Liverpool versus Man City. Now, if you told me based off of what I know of the teams in terms of, like, what they were last season and how they should be full strength, I would say this could be a very, very, very close game, a decently scoring game. But with Liverpool's current form and Man City's current form, this could be an easy victory for Man City, probably quite comfortable. When is Jimenez back this year? I don't know. One of that type of injury, because basically I think it's like underneath his eye, like, and around where the eye socket, like the bone is and the skull, was fractured or cracked or broken or something like that. So it's going to take some time. If you actually see him at the games, when he turns to the side, he has like this big like scar where they must have done surgery or reconstruction of some kind. So that type of injury, like, you never really fully, get back to what you were. So we'll have to see. But I would assume late this year. But who knows? It's like Van Dijk's ACL. You're not necessarily ever. You could either be. Most cases you're either even or worse than what you were, and in very rare cases you're slightly better than what you did when you came out of it. But we'll have to see in those types of injuries. But yeah, that's something he has to wait and see. But I'm actually gonna go City 2-0. I think City's gonna keep a clean sheet. I think City. I'm gonna play my City defenders, almost certainly. Unless certain transfers alter that, but I'm definitely playing at least one City defender because I think City will keep a clean sheet, and I think their defenders can do well because Liverpool just haven't been scoring. So, and at home they're 0 for 2 in the last two. So we'll see on that one. Sheffield United versus Chelsea. Chelsea winning again. I think that's 2 wins on the spin with 1 draw. So far 7 points from 9 for Thomas Tuchel or Tuchel. Not gonna lie, Sheffield on the up 0-0 or 1-0 Chelsea. Yeah, Sheffield United have been doing quite well. I think Chelsea, their attack's a bit weird because I don't know what to make of it. Like when you try to think of it from an FPL point of view, you're kind of looking at it and you're kind of saying, where's the threat coming from? You think Hudson-Odoi, you're thinking Timo Werner. I think they need to play Pulisic. I think they need someone who's direct and can run at the team when they play a 3-4-3 in that system. I think Sheffield will stay up even though it looks horrible. Yeah, I think there's some teams could get sucked into that relegation battle. I think it's weird because Fulham look like they could be good enough to stay up. Sheffield are on the update, so they could potentially stay up. I think West Brom in very rare moments, but they could potentially look like they could stay up. If Burnley and Wolves and Brighton aren't careful, they could easily go right down. So I think of those 6, that's where it's going to be a bit on the tough side. Palace isn't careful, they might be down in there. Newcastle's another one. Those teams could all be dropped down into it. Sheffield defense is close to looking like last season. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's the thing. In terms of FPL, Lundstrom is being compared a lot to how Dallas is this season. But the thing is with Lundstrom, pretty much that you are almost certainly going to get a clean sheet. Whereas Dallas this season is the opposite. It's like, he's definitely not going to get a clean sheet. But if he does, then great. But he can score. So that's why it's kind of the opposite. Yeah, Sheffield United have been doing well. I think Chelsea I think Sheffield United will be resilient. And I think Chelsea will kind of... sorted out how they did versus Burnley. Control the game mostly. Get one late. Excuse me. Don't know why I'm yawning tonight. Maybe all this rain and bad weather we've been having. But anyway. Last fixture. Leeds versus Crystal Palace. Now, this is going to be like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object type of game. Palace are going to defend. And Leeds are going to go. Harry's going with a 1-0 Crystal Palace. Okay. Zodiac's going with a 3-2. You think Palace will score 2 goals? I think Zaha might be injured, which could throw a bit of a spanner in the works, as it were. I see Leeds scoring a couple in this one. Do I think they'll keep a clean sheet? No, because it's Leeds. I think it'll be a close affair. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. Leeds will probably score first, and then the game will go crazy after that. But we'll see. So my clean sheets and differential picks for the week. Just going to expand them out here. So my clean sheet this week is Burnley. I think Burnley is going to keep a clean sheet. I think the versus Brighton. Brighton don't typically score very many. And Burnley is at home, which means Burnley has superpowers apparently to keep more clean sheets. It's just the way they are. They just often keep clean sheets. And the last time that they played was a no-no. Sanchez in goal, because I also think that Brighton will keep a clean sheet probably. I think it's going to be a no-no. I think he'll get some save points. And yeah, I think he should be a good goalkeeper. He's a very cheap goalkeeper, 1.8% owned as well. In defense, Ben Mee, 1.8% owned. So if you're looking for that Burnley defense, he could be your man. I'm certainly looking at him. In midfield versus Liverpool, I think that everyone's looking at the Gundogan's, the Sterlings, all that sort of stuff. But somebody who's been playing basically week in, week out, 90 minutes, except for the one where he came off early with Gundogan, has been Bernardo Silva. Like, if we take a look, I'm just going to move this off to the side and go to the transfer screen and go to Bernardo Silva. If we look, ever since Gameweek 14, 90 minutes, off slightly early because they were blasting the team out of the water. 90 minutes off early because they were blasting the team out of the water. 90 minutes. Bernardo Silva's been playing a lot of minutes, and he's been doing quite well. And I think it's because Pep trusts him to play in that role. And because he's so versatile, and he's a left footer as well, which is they need a kind of a balance of right and left footers in the team. What about Eze? Eze could do well. I think Crystal Palace's fixtures are very good. The problem with Eze is that if Zaha's out, you say, okay, well then the focal point's going to be Eze. The thing is, though, if Zaha's out, that just makes Palace just way worse, right? You want Zaha in the team, and then in which case you would just go Zaha over Eze anyway because Zaha's on penalties. Yes, Eze's on set pieces and that sort of stuff, but it's like if you see a goal notification come up and it says Crystal Palace scored, who is the most likely person to be involved in that goal? It's probably not Eze. It's probably almost certainly Zaha in most cases. And especially a counter-attacking goal. But yeah. And then forward differential pick for this week, I think that Wolves, they could potentially be galvanized from that win and potentially give Leicester a go. And I think William Jose at 0.2%, he's 7 million. He's a very, very risky differential. But I liked what I saw versus Arsenal. Yes, it was versus 10 men, but I think he's just getting his feet wet, and I think he could potentially be something that we could potentially be looking at maybe later on in the season when Wolves' fixtures turn, or Wolves get a little bit better. Lingard, why with Bernardo Silva? Yeah, Lingard, Eze are very good shouts. I don't know what Lingard's ownership is now. Let's see. 1.6%. He's even higher than Bernardo Silva, which is funny. But yeah, those are the clean sheet and differential picks for the week. So I'll post those over on Twitter when I get the chance to do so. So we'll move that stuff out of the way. But yeah, so this is how the team lines up currently. So we got Martinez in goal. He's definitely playing over Johnston, even though I fully expect Johnston to keep a clean sheet in a 1-0 West Brom victory over Spurs or something stupid like that. Martinez, he didn't look good versus West Ham. He let in 2 goals that he probably thought he would have saved, but maybe he'll bounce himself back. Arsenal don't typically make any like, bulk of chances, and they have their own injury concerns as well. In defense, Kufal's definitely coming in. I'm playing triple West Ham this week. The versus Fulham should be good for them. Diaz and Cancelo, those are the 2 defenders I'm going to play over Stones if I were to keep Stones. However, Stones might make way, and we'll show that in a second. In midfield, Salah, Fernandez, who's currently my captain, because I just don't trust Spurs. I do not trust Spurs, and I think Bruno, the last time we played Everton, was excellent. I think he just knows how to play against them, so he's going to be my captain for this week, almost certainly. Maybe I go something more differential, and I go with like Antonio or something like that, but I'm probably going to go Fernandez, because I think he's just going to score the most. I think the last time we played Everton in the league, as well as in the FA Cup, just completely dominated them. There was a 30-minute spell in the FA Cup where we just had Bailly and Maguire in their own half, and I hope Bailly does play, because Lindelof's played I think 2 or 3 games in a row, so I think Bailly should play if he's fit, so allow us to play a high line and just keep Everton in their own half and just basically pass them into submission basically. Son's obviously going to stay in the team. He's versus West Brom. He could get something there. And then we have Harvey Barnes, who's versus Wolves. I expect them to concede. Whether Harvey Barnes gets on the score sheet, who knows? And I'm going to play Harvey Barnes over the likes of Calvert-Lewin. Maybe Calvert-Lewin has a better chance. I mean, he got an assist the last time he played United. Harvey Barnes versus Wolves. He only got 18 minutes, so we'll have to kind of see on that one. I know Wolves have been trying to change up the way that they play, but defensively they just haven't been great overall. And I think that Leicester's attack has been good even without Jamie Vardy. And Barnes has been posting good numbers, and Everton's attack has been the lowest in the league. But if we play the way that we did, United did in the FA Cup, then they should be perfectly fine. And in this situation, I don't want to root. I mean, I hate having 2 attackers in the same game unless I know it's going to be an all guns blazing affair. Like if it was a situation where it was like, I'm trying to think. If it was like Leeds versus United, or Leeds versus Liverpool, I know it's going to be up one end, up the other end, up one end, up the other end. I would want attackers in that game all day, every day. But at least with this, I don't think Calvert-Lewin's going to get much to go off of. Maybe he does score, maybe he doesn't, but I'd rather go for my differential pick and see if he gets points and Calvert-Lewin gets points, because I both think they probably have an equal amount of chance. Maybe Barnes is slightly favored, then I get a bigger green arrow for that. And then up front, Antonio and Bamford, obviously those 2 are going to play. Holding is last on the bench because I think he'll definitely concede, and I think Arsenal just may go on a downturn because of that. Stones is on the bench because he could potentially be swapped out for somebody else. and Calvert-Lewin's on the bench as well. But in terms of transfer picks, I'm looking at a bunch of different options. So I've gone through a bunch of different things in my head this week. Ben Mee is one of them. So I'll show you what this is how my evolution of thought has gone through. So this was before the double game weeks, I was thinking, well, I can go from Barnes to Grealish straight up in a single transfer and then roll a transfer for the next game week. Grealish is going to be versus an Arsenal team that has no Bernd Leto, that has no David Luiz. They may have, they may have other injuries as well. Tierney might not be back, so again, Grealish can cause problems for their team overall. And Arsenal might be in trouble. I mean, they don't outside of their like first ideal 11. Like if they lose, basically, like if you lose Saka, if you lose Thomas Partey, if you lose Tierney, the team goes down significantly. It's much like Liverpool. When you lose Van Dijk, when you have to move Jordan Henderson out of there, when you lose Mane, the team goes downhill really quickly. Which is why the two Manchester clubs have better positions within themselves. Spurs are the same way because they have one guy that's so important to their team. Like, City lose De Bruyne, still no problem for them. It's just how it works. They just have more squad depth. So that was kind of one of the things I was thinking. And then I would go into game week 24. And at that time, I was going on the assumption that Everton was playing a double game week. So I was going to bring in Luca Digne. But then I was also going to get rid of Salah as well and bring in Rashford. That's what I was going to do. Don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. Another thought was get rid of Calvert-Lewin, even though I knew that Everton could potentially have a double game week. And just really attack Arsenal in a sense. Get rid of him. Get rid of Barnes, and go Grealish as well. That was another plan that I had. But now, for those that don't know, we can go through this and check the fixture. So I'm going to scroll down here. So if you didn't know, it was announced today. Game week 24, so not this game week, next game week. There have been fixtures that have been added to the list. I don't know whether to do Mitchell or Lowton this week for -4 or next week for free. It depends. You can wait and see. I might get a bench keeper in so I can hunt down both double game weeks with 2 different keepers. Yeah, I mean, you can do. So, on Wednesday, the 17th of February, in game week 24, Man City, Fulham, Burnley, and Everton have double game weeks, which means that they play twice in the same game week. Everton plays Fulham at home, and Everton plays Man City at home. Fulham plays Everton away, and plays Burnley away. Burnley plays, where's Burnley's first fixture? Burnley plays Fulham at home, and Crystal Palace away. And Man City plays Everton away, and Spurs at home. So on paper, Man City's fixtures are a bit difficult, but they have a double game week in 24, and they might have a double game week in 27 as well, and they're almost certainly going to have a double game week in 26 as well. So Triple City looks to be good. Maybe not so much in defense, but maybe more in attack, because Everton's defense isn't great, and neither is Spurs's. So maybe transitioning from out of defense into attack. In terms of Burnley have 2 great defensive fixtures, Crystal Palace and Fulham, teams not necessarily known for scoring or doing well attacking wise. Everton have a pretty good double, both at home, 1 game versus Fulham and 1 game versus City. So even if you did have a forward like Che Adams, or somebody that even still has a double game week in 25, or somebody that doesn't have a double game week, maybe Calvert-Lewin gets something against Fulham, and then he gets 2 points versus Man City. But he can still score versus Man City because he's that good of a forward. these sorts of players that you can bring in that are cheaper, that have a double game week. You basically bring them in, even if it is for a hit, for basically -2 points, because they get an additional 2 points because they're playing an additional game, assuming they play. Then, so that's game week 24. In game week 25, so this is before the supposed big double game week in 26. In game week 25, on the Tuesday, we have Leeds versus Southampton. So Leeds have a double game week. They play Wolves away from home and Southampton at home. And then Southampton play Chelsea at home and Leeds away in the double game week. Captain Pope in game week 24. How did you know my plan? How did you know my plan? You spoiled the plan. No, but on all seriousness, Pope could be a pretty good captain in game week 24. That would be funny though. I'll consider it. But yeah, all those people. Chris Wood could be back by game week 24 because I don't know how long he's supposed to be out for. But it was a hamstring injury, so maybe it is significant. We don't know overall. But Barnes is out as well. But for how long, we don't know. But that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at defense. So let's take a look at game week 24 first. So, in isolation, the potential captaincy shouts that you can go for. Liverpool play Leicester. That's not really good there. City, yes, they have a double game week, but you're probably only going to go for an attacker almost certainly. And then you have Man United versus West Brom. That's probably really good for Bruno. DCL maybe is potentially a good shout as well. West Ham play Sheffield United at home. That could be good as well. A Chelsea player. But I think this week, if I just, I'm just going to maneuver this down off screen. So I can bring over stuff on the notepad. So if you're looking at double game week 24, so the teams that have doubles is Everton, Fulham, Man City, and Burnley. So in terms of captaincies for double game weeks, you could look at Pope. This is for Burnley, so you can look at Pope, Ben Mee, Tarkowski, probably something like that, maybe. For Everton, you're basically looking at DCL, maybe Digne. Man City, you're looking at Gundogan. You're looking at Cancelo. You're looking at Raz. That's probably it. And then Fulham, probably nobody, to be honest. You might have like Lookman or someone like that in your team, but and then when you start to take out some of the unrealistic captains, you're like, Digne, probably not. Ben Mee and Tarkowski are potentially, Pope's susceptible to yellow cards too, but are they really realistic? Maybe, but in terms of the realistic captains, you're probably looking at a Man City player, Pope, because he's least likely to get injured out of defense and can make save points, and is usually, if Burnley get a clean sheet, almost certainly Pope is like on bonus. It's just how it is. But if you're looking for attacking wise, you're looking at like DCL, you're looking at Sterling, Gundogan, Cancelo, Pope. And then for single game week players, you're looking at Bruno for Man United. Maybe you're looking at Bamford for Leeds. You're looking at maybe Antonio for West Ham. And then you're looking for like Werner maybe for like Chelsea. And then maybe Grealish versus Brighton away from home. But I think the most captain player is probably going to be some type of City player, if I had to guess, that week, just because they have 2 games. So like United could play. United already won 1-0 versus West Brom, and they could easily win the game 2-3-0. I mean, Bruno didn't get a return, I think, until like the 6th goal that United scored versus Southampton, which was interesting. So, and then in Game Week 25, the double that was added was Leeds versus Southampton. So in terms of potential captains for that week, so the teams that double in that week is Southampton and Leeds. So the captains, so Liverpool versus Everton, probably not going to go there. It's a derby. Burnley play West Brom. I mean, that's nothing there. Southampton play Chelsea as one of their games, so probably nothing for Chelsea. Leicester City and Aston Villa play each other. City play Arsenal, so again, you can't predict anything there. Maybe Bruno versus Newcastle is an option. And then outside of that, you're probably looking at Bamford or Rafinha for Leeds, attacking-wise. That's probably about it. Captaincy-wise. Unless you're looking at, maybe City away to Arsenal. But Arsenal have had City's number the last few times they played them. But yeah, Game Week 25 is pretty threadbare, as it were, for captains. Very, very threadbare. So yeah, that's I retweeted it on my Twitter from Ben Krellin. If you haven't followed him, make sure you do. So Leeds and Southampton is a game that was added to make a double game week in Game Week 25. So Leeds and Southampton double in 25, and in 24, Burnley, Fulham, Everton, and City double in 24. But looking back at Game Week 23, so we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Captaincy options for Game Week 23. Maybe you're looking at. I'm gonna be doing a video on this on Friday. But just initial thoughts. Maybe Grealish. Maybe Ings versus Newcastle, Antonio versus Fulham, Bruno probably versus Everton is probably a decent shout. Son's going to be heavily captained. Liverpool versus City, probably not a no-go there. And then maybe Bamford. I don't see it. Again, I don't think we have as much information for Chelsea as we would like. Barnes, maybe, it depends on if Vardy's back. If Vardy's definitely back for this game, then Vardy is looking pretty good. But again, how many people are going to have him, But, yeah, that's just kind of a rough one there. Not ideal. I think this week is going to be like Game Week 21, where there was a whole bunch of random captaincy shouts that people were going for, and ended up just being that Salah just scored a brace. Whereas this week was like, did you captain Salah? Well, you probably got a red arrow. Did you captain Fernandez? Unless your differentials did good. Did you captain Fernandez? Well, you probably got a green arrow. That's pretty much how it works, assuming that the rest of your team is, halfway decent. I really don't trust Son. Seems like the only one that I don't want in for Game Week 20. Yeah, Son is... It's weird, right? Because Spurs kind of play one way. We know how they're going to play. And you don't feel like Son's going to potentially do much at all. I expect one Spurs goal, so no chance of captaining him. The thing is, with captaincy, you don't want to be You obviously want to captain a player that you think is going to get the most points, but at a bare minimum, you want to be captaining a player that you know is going to get a return. And you can't really guarantee that with Son playing. With Kane not in the team. Seems like Mourinho is cracking now. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he is. But yeah. So, and then also, my other transfers that I was thinking about potentially looking at is that I want to find an avenue to get a City attacker of some kind, before the Game Week 26, because I want to be able to captain probably one of them. Maybe in 24. I want to at least have the option. So I have to get rid of one of my City defenders. I don't like to be ranked 79k and have to take chances. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Nuka, how's it going? Glad that you could join us. We're towards the end here, but we always put the VOD up over on YouTube, so you can always take a look at that afterwards. But yeah, I need an avenue to basically get rid of... I'm probably going to get rid of Stones, but I hope he goes up in price, because then I can get 0.1 on him. Which would be nice. We've already got nice value on Cancelo and Diaz so far, so yeah, I'm probably going to be looking... to get rid of Stones, almost certainly. Got back to top 10 in my country. Nice. Hopefully your game week was good. But yeah, the transfers I'm thinking about potentially doing, basically going into game week 24, the players that I'm looking to potentially get is, Nick Pope, Ben Mee, or at least a Burnley defender, probably Gundogan, and then the other one is probably going to be like Luca Digne or Mina or Keane or somebody like that in Everton defense. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And then basically in 23 I would play, so this would be Holding, and this would be Barnes. So I would play Pope in goal. Would I play Pope in goal? Who's he got? Brighton. And then Martinez has Arsenal. Yeah, so I would just bench Martinez if that was the case. So I would play Pope in goal. Because I don't want to lose value on Martinez because we still have a little value that we got on him. So I play Pope in goal, Ben Mee, Cancelo, and Kufau. I would then play Barnes, Salah, Fernandez, Son, and Souček. And then I would play Bamford and Antonio. And then in 24, I would play Pope, Digne, Mee, Cancelo, Diaz. Unfortunately, I'd have to bench Kufau versus Sheffield United at home, which is not ideal. I'd have Gundogan, Fernandez, Souček definitely, Calvert-Lewin, and Antonio. And then I have to pick one of Bamford, Son, and Salah, which is not what I really want to have to do. It's not ideal. Salah versus Leicester. Last time they won 3-0 versus Leicester, but Leicester could give them a really good game this time. Unless Kane's back, I don't really want to play Son versus City, ideally. So he might be definitely one, and then it's going to be picked between Salah and Bamford. So, again, is a bit tricky. I'm still not sure what I want to do, but there are players on the short list that we kind of want to be looking at. We know kind of who those players pretty much are. And then, so, hold on, if I do that, so I go, so Pope, Ben Mee, Gundogan, who's the other one? Digne. And then the only other transfer that I'd be looking to do in 25 would just be Souček out for Rafinha. And then I'd have those two for the double gaming, because do I really want to spend -4, or in this case it'd be like -2 for Dallison? In 25, I would probably play, against Arsenal away. I'd probably play Cancelo. I'd probably play Diaz. Would I play Digne versus Liverpool? No. Would I play Ben Mee in 25? Yes. So I play Diaz, Cancelo, Ben Mee. I play Nick Pope. Then I play Rafinha. I play Son versus West Ham. I play Bruno plays Newcastle. So yep, that's good there. I play Salah versus Everton. I definitely play Gundogan versus Arsenal. Calvert-Lewin, maybe not versus Liverpool, maybe. Bamford versus Wolves. Obviously, he's going to play because he's got a double. And then Antonio versus Spurs. Again, it'll be a toss-up between Calvert-Lewin and Antonio. So it's going to be a bit tough. There's going to be benching headaches all the time. But yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at. And then we could wildcard or choose to do whatever we want. Again, we're going to get more information going into in between Game Week 23, going into Game Week 24, because of the fact that we'll know what the FA Cup results are in the middle of next week, which we can actually take a look at before we sign out here. Also, if you're looking at potential price rises tonight, they end up going up in or down in 29 minutes. Players looking to potentially be going up tonight is Antonio, Lingard, and Souček, with Maddison, Ben-Mee, Cancelo, Justin, Bruno Fernandes, Kufal, and Cresswell being somewhat close. And then going down is Robertson, El Ghazi, Ziyech, Tellez, Taylor, Dendoncker, Matip, Gibbs, and Henderson of Liverpool, with Castagne, Foden, and the like being close. Again, those are projections. Those are not fully accurate. But in terms of the FA Cup fixtures, let's bring these across here so we can take a quick peek at those. So let me center this a little bit. So these are the FA Cup fixtures. So in between, where's the fixtures? In between these fixtures here in 23, so after the weekend, on Monday, Leeds versus Crystal Palace on the 8th. We then have these FA Cup fixtures. So on the 9th, Burnley plays Bournemouth and United plays West Ham. So we'll know the result of those two. And then Swansea plays Man City, Leicester plays Brighton, Sheffield United plays Bristol, and Everton plays Tottenham Hotspurs. And then Wolves play Southampton, and Barnsley play Chelsea. So by the end of Thursday evening, we will know, before this game week 24, which starts on the Saturday. So we'll basically have a day and a bit to know which double game weeks are going to be in 26. And if you want to see the probabilities of those, let me see if I can bring up Mr. Ben Krellen's tweet, because Ben Krellen is the fixture guru. I'm going to post it in the chat, and I'm going to put it up on my screen here in just a second. There we are. So these are the fixtures of what we're kind of looking at here. Can I center this a little bit? Alright, benching City defenders this week. If I bring in Ben-Mee, then I'll be benching one of them, and one of them will be transferred out. So I'd be benching Diaz, because I'd be playing Kufal, Ben-Mee, and then Cancelo. But that's just because Ben-Mee and Kufal have good fixtures. I mean, who knows? I might play them over over Barnes or somebody like that. And Zuma back in now that Thiago Silva's injured. No, Christensen was actually the one who got subbed in, so which was a bit interesting. And I think he's only 4.8 million, so him and Rudiger are quite cheap. But yeah, so the things that are highlighted in yellow are confirmed, or whatever this color is. I'm color deficient, so I think it looks yellow. Yellow or lime green, whatever it is. These are the confirmed double game week fixtures for 24 and 25. If it is in orange, then it's likely to be a double game week. So these are the double game weeks that we're potentially looking at in 26. So, City, West Ham versus Wolves. And you can see the blank percentage chances on the side here. So it's like Man City versus Wolves in 29. It will be a blank if Man City beats Swansea or Wolves beat Southampton. Now, I'm pretty sure Man City's going to beat Swansea. So almost certainly Man City versus Wolves will be in Game Week 26. That's kind of how it works. And then there's percentage chances, Brighton beating Leicester, West Ham beating Man United, all these sorts of things here. So these ones in orange are like a above 50% chance to potentially be in this game week. And then there are some teams that might not even double in this game week, but we will see. And the ones that have already been confirmed in the blank game week 19 that are going to be going ahead. So Leeds versus Fulham is the only fixture as it stands that is in that game week confirmed because they're both not in the FA Cup anymore. So we will have to see. But these are all the possibilities on the right-hand side. So if you go on Ben Krellin's Twitter, I also posted the link in the chat, you can check out this table as well. But we'll know more of this towards the end of next week, what the situation is going to be for that. So we will see on that front. But yeah, if I had to predict, I would say Man City's going to beat Swansea. I would say Southampton will probably beat Wolves. At this rate, Everton will beat Spurs. Burnley will probably beat Bournemouth. Leicester will beat Brighton. Sheffield United will probably win versus Bristol. Chelsea will beat Barnsley. United should beat West Ham, but could go either way, to be honest, because West Ham are playing quite well. Which would mean that the only fixtures left in Game Week 29 would be, so if Everton beat Tottenham, that means West Brom versus Everton is a blank. And if Southampton beat Wolves, that means that would be a blank. If Burnley beat Bournemouth, yeah, so we could potentially be looking at a situation where there's only 2 fixtures in this Game Week 29 blank, which would be definitely interesting. So, yeah. Could be something. But yeah, this is my team as it stands as of now. We will be back for the deadline stream as per normal, but I'll just give you a run through of the team one more time. Martinez in goal, Kufal, Diaz, Cancelo, Souček, Salah, Fernandez captain, Son vice captain, Barnes, Antonio, and Bamford with Johnston, Calvert-Lewin, Stones, and Holding on the bench. But yeah, let's move over to the big screen now. So yeah, that's going to do it for Game Week 23 preview. We will be having the captaincy video out tomorrow, as well as we will be doing a deadline stream here on Twitch. So if you're watching over on YouTube, come check us out for the deadline stream. It is 1 hour before the FPL deadline. The FPL deadline is 7 a.m. my time. I am 4 hours behind UK time. I will leave a pinned comment as per normal as to when the stream will be exactly. So we'll be up. Basically, if you scroll down to the deadline and see it for Game Week 23, check the time on February 6th, whatever that time is. We're going to be up 1 hour before that. So if you can make it, come over and check out the stream over on Twitch. It's PilotFlame226. Links are also in the description. And if you haven't done so, follow us here on Twitch. Follow us over on Twitter so you can get all the updates. I've been retweeting more stuff, more and more. There's a couple of different FPL memes. A couple of different bits and pieces of information about double game weeks and blank game weeks. So we'll be retweeting all that sort of stuff when we get it available. So make sure to check that out as well. So yeah, watch out for the captaincy video coming out tomorrow, as well as we will be back for the deadline stream 5 a.m. EST for Game Week 23. And that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.